Welcome, I'm Rebekah Jackson. We're pleased to bring you the next installment in our PeopleSoft Innovators video series, this time talking with a key partner, MIPRO, about some of the PeopleSoft innovators they've worked with and the trends they're seeing in the PeopleSoft customer base. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Why don't we start by having you introduce your role at MIPRO and talk a little bit about your history with the PeopleSoft community?
Sure. So at MIPRO, I'm a managing partner, but also our VP of delivery. So responsible for our projects, our methodology, our consultants, our project managers, et cetera. So just so you know, MIPRO, we are a PeopleSoft consulting firm. That is all we do. We focus on PeopleSoft. It is our passion. The vast majority of us have years and years of PeopleSoft. My background in PeopleSoft, I actually started at PeopleSoft back in 1996. I started consulting and implementing the supply chain products, moved into some project management, and was there for about 10 years. And then I've been with MIPRO, again, continuing working on PeopleSoft implementations, methodology, et cetera, since 2009, and have continued to engage in the PeopleSoft community, many sessions at the Reconnects and Collaborates, and soon to be Blueprint 4D. So
fabulous. Another long timer like myself. You have me beat by 2 years, I'll say.
All right.
As a partner that works across a lot of PeopleSoft customers, and particularly PeopleSoft innovators, what are you noticing in terms of the trends that customers are investing in and the projects that you're doing with them?
Yeah, so the trend, and I'm excited about this trend, and it's really been over the last couple of years, is people or customers who are brand new to PeopleSoft, implementing PeopleSoft, and customers who are adding PeopleSoft products to their portfolio. So some examples that we've done over the years, last few years, we've implemented the entire ESA suite for a consulting firm, and they're brand new to PeopleSoft. They chose PeopleSoft over other software, which is always so exciting, including other cloud and SaaS applications. So we implemented brand new to support their business 13 modules. We've been working with the state of Oklahoma. They have a vision to have all of their agencies on a centralized PeopleSoft platform. So they've been moving all of their agencies to PeopleSoft Financial Supply Chain, which is also on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So we've been continuing to migrate agencies to that centralized platform. In addition, they're also adding brand new modules. So we've been working with the procurement organization to modernize their procurement solutions, implementing e-supplier, strategic sourcing, supplier contracts. We work with other organizations. We've been working with Drummond Company, who's a longtime PeopleSoft customer. They're implementing lease administration now. We've been working with a fleet management organization who will be adding a significant number of modules to their portfolio. They've got GL, AP, and AR now. They're going to be adding inventory, assets, purchasing, lease, cash. So a lot of brand new modules, brand new implementations.
What are you seeing in terms of customers adopting new features? Are you noticing trends by industry or product area?
Yeah, so I think the really good news is we're definitely seeing customers adopt new features. And I think probably good news is that they're not actually one or two features that we see all the time. We're seeing a variety of new features depending on their business requirements. So some of the trends that we are seeing, health and safety is being deployed with the brand new fluid interface with the vaccine tracking. So that's being deployed. We know there's a few of our federal agencies who will be deploying it very shortly, if not already. We know that we try to keep pulse on our customer base, and we've done some surveying and getting information back what they're interested in. And job data modernization is a big topic for them. That many of them, 60% of our customer base really has an interest in. We're seeing fluid timesheets. We're seeing fluid ePro requisitions. fluid work centers, all elements that are being deployed as new features. And I think one of the things that customers have to deal with and address is, there's been hundreds, if not thousands, of new features deployed across the PUMs over the years. And if they haven't kept it up, how do you choose the right feature to deploy, or how do you go through that list of hundreds and thousands? So what we try to do is really help them identify, what are the current business pain points that they're dealing with? What are the issues that they're dealing with from a business perspective? And then that helps us narrow down and identify, what features can address those pain points. So instead of going through a list of 1,000 and seeing what's best, let's target those that can address their business. And I think that speaks to what I said earlier, where it's not one or two features. It varies depending on their business needs, but definitely seeing a lot of adoption of new features across the board.
That's great. And it sounds like in general, a maturing of approaches to selective adoption and how customers choose to take new capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
As customers take those features, what are you seeing in terms of configuration? We certainly have been investing in configuration tools and trying to make new features. You mentioned several where we've really put a focus on configurability, like timesheets, like job data, some of the ones in financials and supply chain. Are customers taking advantage of those?
Yeah, so personally, I think this is one of the best features and investments that's been made. So the ability to use some of the configuration to really enhance and change and improve the user experience overall, I think is one of the most valuable things there is right now, and that customers really need to take advantage of. And I think the good news here is that we are seeing it. And the other good news is that the tools have been designed in such a way that they don't require a lot of training and knowledge, and even support from implementation partners like ourselves. Our customers are deploying them on their own. So we're seeing that happen more and more. So some of the things that we're seeing, again, kind of going back to surveying the pulse of our customers, kind of in this order, the features from configurability that they're taking advantage of most are the home pages and dashboards, navigation collections, personalization of work centers, page and field configurator, drilling URLs, related content, related actions, and event mapping. Those are the top. Now, there's also a subset where they haven't deployed, but there's a lot of interest. And in terms of not being deployed, but still having a lot of interest, those are drop zones, simplified analytics, and also the thresholds and notifications in the pivot grids. So one of the things that we like to promote with our customers is, with all these new features and new functionality, it's hard to understand how do you deploy them to add that business value. And part of it is there's so much there. The IT organization knows how to use the tools. The business may not know they're there. So what we try to do is bridge that gap, make sure that the business understands what these tools are. So when we're trying to work with our customers to explain what these tools are, understand and promote how they can apply these from a business perspective. And I think once they understand that, these configuration tools really take off for them.
That makes a lot of sense. I think in keeping with the move to cloud software, where the line of business becomes increasingly more important in how you use and adopt the software, even for customers that choose to stay on PeopleSoft, it's important to bring IT and the line of business close together to make those decisions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we try to bridge that gap and make that happen. And when that happens, they really can take advantage of those features and change how they interact with the software to better their business processes.
Speaking of changes, one of the things that we believe really unlocks a tremendous amount of potential for our customers is running PeopleSoft on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. We're starting to hear some pretty remarkable advances in terms of reducing cost and improving performance, and just all of the things that makes possible. You mentioned State of Oklahoma. Can you talk a little bit more about their OCI migration?
Sure. So back in 2018, the state of Oklahoma had a centralization and modernization project where their idea or their goal was to centralize their applications, their financial supply chain applications on PeopleSoft. And OCI was a component of that overall vision. Essentially, part of their thought process was they did not want to spend the time, dollars to maintain an infrastructure for a package solution that was not the direction they wanted to take. So OCI came into the picture. Fast forward to kind of the fall of 2019, the Oracle account team invited MIPRO into the state of Oklahoma. We did a large PeopleSoft financial supply chain demo for about 150 CFOs and finance directors to demonstrate the capabilities, the features of PeopleSoft and solidify that vision of putting it on a centralized platform and having it hosted on OCI. Fast forward again, about a year later in the fall of 2020, the state of Oklahoma went live on OCI on PUM Image 26 for financials and supply chain, initially for several of their groups and agencies. Since then, they've continued to expand and get the value out of OCI. They not only have their pre-production environments, their test, their dev, et cetera, but also their production environments. As we migrate agencies, we take advantage of being able to spin up new environments relatively quickly and cost effective, and be able to take them down easily. So they continue to see the benefit of that speed of in creating those environments and the cost savings associated with managing everything on OCI.
In closing, what's the one thing that you would like to see every PeopleSoft customer do to get more value out of their solution?
Yeah, I think it comes down to one key word, and that's engage. Engage with product strategy, engage with Quest, engage in the conferences, engage in the ideas space, engage in the upcoming features and functionality. So when you participate in and engage in the overall PeopleSoft community, right, you get that look and feel of how other customers are taking advantage of the software, what they're doing to enhance their business. It gives a lot of value to not just what features and functionality are being deployed, but how are they being leveraged? How are other customers taking advantage of the technology? We find by far customers that engage in the PeopleSoft community, including attending Blueprint 4D and the Reconnects and the Quest community, by far get the most value out of PeopleSoft just by engaging in the overall community. That's the biggest recommendation we can make.
Larry, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
To learn more about the PeopleSoft innovators that have worked with MIPRO Consulting, visit the published stories on PeopleSoftInfo.com in the Customer and Innovation section. While you're there, submit a nomination for the new features you've adopted. Share your story with the community.